Howdy partners, lovely day. Been chucking it down all night. Every day's been the same. Night time raining all night, heavy rain. Next day, everything freshly washed and looking good. So it's 2:45. We're at the edge of the Black Forest and we're going to go for a little ride. So let's do it! Just missed a perfect picture opportunity there. There was a crane, a bird fishing in that little deck. It's beautiful. But it got away. Never mind. Now this is for someone in Texas who's looking after, I think it's Texas or Massachusetts. Somebody in America anyway called Karen who sent me a little message on Facebook and said she enjoys vicariously these little trips in the Black Forest. So this one's just for you, Karen. So I'm really high up in the forest, but I'm absolutely lost. I've been going around for the last hour and a half and I thought I'd do a shortcut which you should never do in the forest, and luckily I've got a compass with me so I know roughly which direction to go in, but some of the undergrowth is too heavy to get through. I don't want to risk getting a puncture on one of those big brambles. So I'll just have another little look up this way, and if this doesn't work then I'm going to have to lose all my height that I've gained and just go on the first track back into the valley. This way's not looking too good to my eyes. Never learn. I always think you've got to know this place and then boom, you get totally lost. It's funny, I'm reading a Norman Mailer book at the moment, and they're all in the jungle in the Pacific, a little island. And I've just spent half an hour pushing the bike through a load of undergrowth and nettles and all sorts. It was quite like that book. So I wonder if this is going to just peter out, which is a couple of tracks I've tried, they've just petered out into dead ends. where they collect the wood. And let's see what happens to this one. I can feel that I'm almost in the right place, but I could, like I said, I could just drive the other way down this path, but then I'll lose all the altitude that I've painstakingly gained. Hopefully this path will come out onto a more well-known path. And if not, never mind. I'll manage to get home. Have a look at where we are there. If you can see that, we're high up. I should have been over there really. I'm on the wrong side of the valley. But I've got a feeling I roughly know where I am, so I hope that I come out at this little place where I can get a drink of water too. I'm dying of thirst. This is character building, is this? It's sitting in the garden moaning about stuff. Get out on the bike and give yourself a fright by getting lost. I think this must lead somewhere. It's weird being on top of a mountain in a forest. Whoa. Oh, it's not looking good. This is not looking good. I have to give myself a good checking over for ticks when I get home. I've been going through this undergrowth and there's loads of ticks around here, and even though I've got a vaccination, they carry some nasty diseases. Lyme's disease, which can paralyse you. Another disease, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh bloody hell, this is not looking good. But why would they make a path if it doesn't go anywhere? Unless it just goes into a wood collecting area. Ah, there's the path. Great. Phew. I'm going to have a stop here and have a little rest. Oh. Nice to know my sense of direction's not totally shot, but it wasn't too good in that forest because there was some blokes cutting wood in there, and they don't like it one bit if you're fooling about going through the undergrowth and they're cutting trees down. Too dangerous. So I'm pooped now. I hope this water's okay. It's ice cold. So I know where I am again now. Back on the unknown track. I made a video yesterday or day before yesterday. A lot of people commented on it. It was, when I looked at it again, I didn't really like it because it looked like some whining Western person moaning about his due moaning. And I was looking into it a little bit more, what was going on about, and there's a name for it in German, what I was talking about. It's called Weltschmerzen, which means world pain. And that's basically all that says is you can't have it perfect how you want it. Because say you get an idea in your head and you want to build something or make something, and you get this idea in your head and it might be perfect in theory in your mind, because in your mind it can be made absolutely perfect. It's like the thing about a line. If you draw a line, an imaginary line has absolutely no thickness at all. It's that kind of a way. But it cannot be perfect. There'll always have to be some rough materialism involved, and material is too globe. What's globe in English? It's too rough, too unfine to make these super fine things that you've got in your head. So what we've got to work with is clay from the earth, and that's a bit hard to model into something that's a perfect dream. It will always be not quite as you want it, because when it comes into reality, there's rules of reality, which is rules of physics and rules of how materials all together, and so the dream will never be quite as good as your dream. It'll always have a flaw. There'll always be something wrong. And I guess that's the thing you've got to understand, that all life is a compromise. No matter how, it's about control in a way, isn't it? You want to control everything and make it perfect. But at the end of the day, you've got to realise that it's all a compromise, because it'll never be perfect like you want it to be. And if you keep expecting it to be perfect, then you're only going to be sadly disappointed. So I guess the moral of the story is take it as it comes. In a way. It makes me wonder if that's one of those understories in the Bible. You know, like Jesus came along and kicked them all out of the temple and said, "Come on, get real." And you got this guy, he's a bit like a hippie, isn't he, Jesus, really? And he comes along and kicks all the people out of the temple for changing money and says, "Come on, get real. Stop being so materialistic and just concentrate on how beautiful and wild and wonderful this world is, and this is heaven on earth." And everyone had enough of him, and so they ended up stringing him up on a cross and crucified him. And maybe that's the kind of the moral of the story, is if you want to be like Jesus and have everything perfect and change everything, then in the world that we live in at the moment, be prepared to be strung up for it, because maybe it's metaphorical for being strung up in your mind, you know. It's like being strung up when you can't get your perfect idea how you want it, and then it all goes pear-shaped, doesn't it? Your dream comes out, and when you try and make it reality, it'll never live up to your dream, and maybe that's your dream being crucified there. And on that video there was quite a lot of comments, and I read them all, and I really enjoyed reading those comments, because everyone had something to say, everyone had their little bit of wisdom and added it, and it cleared things out in my head. And now, like the weather today, my head feels really clear and all's right with the world again. You know, that beating yourself up is like hanging on a cross, really, isn't it? You're hanging on the cross then. And maybe the cross, you know, that's got some kind of symbolism. That there's crossed lines, cross purposes. So if there is a message, the message is, it is heaven, but it's hard to be there. You know, it looks like heaven from here, this view to me, but you could stand here for about 3 hours, then you start getting hungry, and then you realise there's nothing to eat around here, even though it looks absolutely beautiful. So you've got to go into the dirty valley where the farms are, and the factories and the shops and the marketplace, and go and buy yourself something to eat. And so that's the, you know, that's the two, it's a dualism kind of. You've got to take the good with the bad, because the good always has some bad in this world. Because we're all just made out of mud and stone and earth, and we've got the potential to be beautiful like that view. But at the same time, we're made up of that stuff, so we've got to go and get our hands dirty with it sometimes as well. The soil of the earth. Yeah, getting yourself a bit panicky as well. I mean, when I was a bit lost in the woods over there, I got a bit panicky at one point and get the adrenaline going, and that gets your brain thinking properly, I think. So I'll have to stop and take another picture here, I think. It's how beautiful. I'll just put you on this tree stump here while I take a couple of pictures. This piece of wood here, just come past it, and it's got Kiga Altdorf on there, and that means these two bits of wood here are for the kindergarten in my village. So that means they'll be making something with this wood in the kindergarten, maybe some little stools, or I don't know what they'll be making with it, but it'll be interesting to follow that up and see what happens to that piece of wood. Oh, that's where all my boys went to that kindergarten, and I've done quite a bit of work in the garden too, so I'll go and see what they're going to do with that. So now just that bit of writing on the piece of wood makes me feel at home, because I know what it means. Oh, let's carry on. So here's one of those little huts. I'm almost home now. It's downhill all the way down there, so I'll just take it easy now. I'm going to have a little sit down in the sun here, but just have a little look in this hut here. You can see it in here, it's probably too dark for the camera. Look, here's just on the table there. Somebody's left a little bottle of schnapps, not opened. So that's kind of nice, isn't it? Like an emergency bottle of schnapps there. I might have it actually. It's just standing there. So, and on the label it says "drink me." So I think I will drink it. I'll have a cigarette and a schnapps. So let's just try it and see what it tastes like. It's still sealed, so it should be okay. Ooh. Little coward. Cheers, whoever left that. Had quite a kick, that little bottle of schnapps, especially on an almost empty stomach. So downhill all the way home now. Pleasantly knackered. So watch out here, they've just put some new stones on the ground. It's a bit dodgy. From those two fellas working in the forest today, I haven't seen one person today. Nobody's out in the forest today at all. Hello. A nice little net on there, eh? Hello. Home again. Absolutely knackered. Have a great day.